Hey guys, so today I wanted to learn about the moon. So I'm going to draw all the phases and we could talk about it and what they have to do, the phase of the moon, what it has to do with their engineering and overall their goal is takeover, and show you what they mean when they say they stole the moon, or why they do their rituals on full moons, what eclipses symbolize. Yeah, basically the personification that they use it for. I'm going to explain it. But first, coffee. Quora. So basically, I've been trying to figure out how to explain the process that they're saying and doing over and over repetitively. And it's so complex and so much that in order for me to understand it, like, I've got to get all up in that. And that's just in general. Anything. And I start drawing stuff, trying to figure it out. I'm obviously not done, but this is like how entangled it is, and they like it like that. So it looks like, but I'm going to explain this this diagram. So I finally got tired of trying to do it neat and nice and perfect, and one day I was just like, I'm just gonna write it. I'm just gonna draw it, write it, and then hopefully the whole process will connect, and I'll be able to see the big picture of what their plan and what they're actually doing to us. So I'm gonna explain this as best as I know how. This is rough draft just to pull things together. I'm missing steps, obviously, but that's why you have to draw it out to see the steps. So basically, here goes the fish, which is the diamond, the cross. This is how it starts. That's Jesus. That is us. That is the diamond in the rough. We are the diamond in the rough. They have anti-gravity machines, microgravity machines, fluid. I need to get all my notes out so I can speak on this better. But vapor fluid manipulation machines. Basically, their whole thing is to manipulate the matter in our bodies and to create diseases and stuff like that, so that we'll have to heal. And then when we heal, we will heal with one of the solutions that they have put into our body or in the atmosphere, and we will combine with that alien substance, whatever it may be, I think. But anyway, so should have vacuumed. So basically what they do is put so much, that's the diamond, life force, light, the lampstand, that's the lampstand in the Bible. But basically the pressure is added via these signal command givers. Basically all the machines and the persons that are working with the machines and tied up with them, they're using these machines to change your matter. And the process that I've seen so far seems like they put so much pressure on you, and eventually when you put pressure where the star, Jesus is the star, put so much pressure and it will, hold on. Sorry, I thought the dog was knocking. So, yeah, but that's the star. He put so much pressure on the star, utilizing Satan's devices. That star then collapses in on itself. And when it comes in, it comes in, or it combusts. Basically, there's so much pressure, it combusts. That's the Big Bang theory, right? It combusts. And then the star, once the star explodes and combusts, it then has an effect, because it just put all that force out there, and then it's going to take it all back, just like a nuclear explosion. It'll be like a big mushroom kind of thing, and that's because it's exploding, collapsing at the same time, and all that pressure it's physics. Explosion is going to send everything around it haywire. But basically that's what happens. It explodes, collapses on itself with all the pressure, and that's the Big Bang. And when it explodes into whatever, and that's the Big Bang thing. So something along those lines is what had happened. Let's just say that. And this collapse is the eggshell that they speak of. So these machines can cook here's the egg right here, Humpty Dumpty, little Humpty. Yeah, that's not a cool song. So it's basically talking, and that's the whole thing with Easter as well. They are trying to crack our heads in any way, or they can cook it from the inside out, and we have no idea how they are messing with the matter. Or if they crack it at the right angle and with the right pressure under the perfect conditions, they can actually add material, another yolk, to that egg, and then you'll have two cells in one, that kind of two nucleuses in one. What is that called? Two kings in one castle, so to speak. And that castle is your house. That's what the Bible speaks of when it says, get your house in order. That's your head. That's your body. That's your temple. Probably literally your physical temple. And basically they've devised weapons, microscopes, the Hubble scope is specifically for finding illuminations within people. That is what they call the life force and whatever. That's why they call us human, because they can see the hue around us. It is certain, with certain light, certain lens manipulation, you can see the hue that we are exerting, and that's how they know who we are, I guess, and that's how they locate us. And I'm guessing they do that with PJs and the point plotters that work with them on those helicopters that follow us everywhere. So anyways, basically that's the whole big thing, is we are the eggshell and the yolk is in there, and they can cook it, they can crack it, they can slice it, they can dice it using weapons, and you will never ever tell unless the outside of the shell is physically showing symptoms, or if you can see, just like that movie Concussion, you won't know what explosions and concussions, what happened to that person's head until they're dead. And when you cut it open, it looked like it had aged, and that age came from being hit the Big Bang over and over and over. I imagine that's the same effect that it has on our brains when they use mechanics to do the same exact process, only it's artificially induced with the Big Bang machines they have. Okay, these are fluid machines, vapor, pressure. It's a lot. And so basically, whenever they do get to that egg, and it's funny how egg is EEG or EGG and EEG, those are the same. That's also a funny thing about the egg, is that's where all the sensory is. It's our head is EEG, EGG, the sensory functions that they use to manipulate us. They manipulate us and they control us using our emotions. When they teach us to tap into our emotions, because our emotions is what controls our behavior. And that's how they're controlling us. Well, one of the ways. So once they crack that egg or whatever, and it explodes, and it does that whole Big Bang thing, right? It's going to collapse and become a black hole. And that's that thing. And it creates like a suction vacuum effect. So I don't know if that's the consciousness of a person, the life force of a person getting sucked out, the Milky Way of that person getting sucked out. I'm not sure. And because they always talk about milk and moo. I literally have gotten so much stuff with mail, and for stuff I didn't order or want or anything, but it'll have my name and it'll have some code, and the code is cow or moo. That has happened on multiple occasions, and I'm guessing that's leading to I don't know, it's funny that there's a milkman or milking it, the Milky Way consciousness. I know there's some kind of pun. Everything they do is a pun. Everything they say, every system, like it's all a pun. We don't know what's going on, but they do. So it's like their little sick inside joke. Just like, space being space. It's not real. Space is New World Order takeover. Operations is what that is. Okay, so you become the black hole, right? Basically, and that's when you create that suction part. That's when it has that tornado effect, that swirling, turning, and I'm guessing at this point that's when you have that flipping effect, just like the dog eats and their stomach flips. Well, eventually, when that stomach keeps flipping over and over, it'll eventually get to the point where that stomach can't flip back over. And I think that's what they're doing in this process. They'll flip it, and eventually it won't become, it will stay that way. It'll stay in their new form. And I say that because there's a verse out of the book of Enoch that specifically talks about new form. Stars in their new form. Hold on real quick. It's my favorite verse in the book of Enoch. Here we go. So, it is under astronomical secrets. In the book of Enoch, I like it because it's got both translations. This one right here. Okay, so it says, and remember, stars is energy, lightning is energy, stuff like that. That's our life force, blah, blah. So astronomical secrets in the book of Enoch. And I saw other lightnings in the stars of heaven, and I saw how he called them by their names, and they hearkened unto him. And I saw how they weighed in their righteous balance, according to their proportions of light. These are physical things, by the way. According to the proportions of light, I saw the width of their spaces, and the day of their appearing, and how their revolution produces lightning. And I saw their revolution according to the number of angels, and how they keep faith with each other. And I asked the angel who went with me, who showed me what was hidden, what are these? And he said to me, the Lord of Spirits has showed thee their parabolic meaning, the parable for it. These are the names of the holy ones who dwell on earth, and believe in the name of the Lord of Spirits forever and ever. And here's where it got me. This is my favorite verse. Also, another phenomenon I saw in regard to the lightnings, how some of the stars arise and become lightnings, and cannot part with their new form. My eyes look funny. So when my eyes look like this is when they're using energy. Usually this is like when I'm in a trance. So hopefully this video will be interruption proof and I can just fine tune my focus on God and show you. But I don't like that. My irises, so that's another thing. My pupils are always changing sizes, and that's the first thing we look for as a medic for a head trauma. The first thing you look for as a medic for head trauma is battle signs, raccoon eyes, and you always check the eyes for pearl. Pearl equals, equal round and reactant to light. That's the first thing we checked is our pupils. So if my pupils are indicating head injuries, why? If I'm just sitting here on the couch, I shouldn't have one pupil a different size from the other. Do you guys see what I'm saying? My pupils are always changing sizes and stuff, and I've noticed certain medications make me see better, and certain energies and certain trans will literally change the pupil. And that's another thing. It seems like all of this is within the eyes, so I don't like they have control of my eyes. I do not like that. Sam I am. Do not like green eggs and ham. Oh gosh, I don't even want to know what that's about. But we know what 1 fish, 2 fish, 3 fish, blue fish is. Well, we will. So, anyways, here it is, the black hole suction. I did an arrow. Oh yeah. So I was talking about the travel. So the black hole is the wormhole. This is the tube that they have made, the vector that they have made in order to time travel. So the thing about the cross, when they talk about Jesus, he was hung on the cross. He was hung on the cross between time and space. He's literally hung on the cross between time and space. And that's the canonical thing. Like it's just so funny how we look at things, the narratives that they can draw. You get me? He did hang on a cross, and he was hung, but it was between time and space. It was a figurative way of speaking, and they made it a whole false narrative. You notice they don't go into detail about Jesus' death. All they say is he died, they put the spear in his side, he drank some wine and gave up his last breath, or gave up the Holy Ghost, you know, and someone said, surely that must be the Son of God. If he, you know what I mean? That thing, that's all. But that's it. That's literally it. All this crap happened too. Everything down to the vinegar was poison. All right. Well, that's what it was back then. Wine. That's what the Romans made it out of anyways. So, the light in us is the lampstand of God. Humpty Dumpty trying to break it. Pressure, explosion, black hole. That's the vector in which they travel. This is what they call time travel. Father Time, I'm guessing that is God, and they are traveling through us via this black hole. Whenever we are hung between time and space on their cosmological scale, whatever you call it. Anyways, and I think during this section, that's when the whole 6-9 thing happens. And you're like, oh, what is this? And that's when I think the yin-yang thing happens and all that. So, time travel up here. This is the 3 6s. And it also spells out CERN. It looks like a hurricane. These are mixtures of molecules and particles. These have been manipulated by weapons, fluid weapons, energy weapons. All these things that we thought were made to help us are actually made by the same companies. One being an aerospace company in Florida, Hollywood, Florida. They make, yeah, like you type in switchcraft in Wikipedia, and that product, that place will pop up, so you know who makes all of our equipment and stuff. It's aerospace. Everything we use, electronics, NASA, everything. They are actual transformers, but it's not extreme, so that's what they do. They make everything super extreme and exaggerated, so you won't recognize it in real life. So here you go, spinning, twirling, and I'm guessing this is when they add an alien species or alien particle, or I have no idea. AI, I do not know. But everyone knows CERN is bad anyways. Yeah, there's a little time machine, and that's where the flower, it's so weird. Wormhole, tunnel, high energy, invisible. So this goes up to, oh yeah, Big Bang, particle collide. At this point, I want to say light, there's a spectrum of light that is put off when there is a tube of gas under pressure with certain radiation or something like that. I could be wrong, but it's something like that. And that's where that rainbow effect comes from. That's where that pyramid with the rainbow that goes through it, that's the top of a crystal. Jesus is a crystal. Christ, crystal. And that pyramid looks like the Pink Floyd thing. You know, the Pink Floyd cover with the pyramid, and it's got the thing going through it, the energy of light going through it. And if you go look at Metallica Master of Puppets, you'll see the strings, the EGG strings that they pull on our emotions and control our behavior. Okay, so, speaking of the EEG, right? These are sensory signals, control nerves, control motion, control sight, control hearing, taste, etc. Big Bang, particles collide. I'm pretty close, I can see it. So, explosion, crystal, blah, blah. You see how much this goes into, you guys? Big Bang. Okay. So now we're up here. And that's when that happens. As, you know, side notes, the signals. But right here, there's a lot to do with Viking. I don't know what Vikings are. Vikings, the 6 kings, the 6 men that are clashing with the 9 demons. Is that what that is? I'm not sure. I do know there's a false teacher named Marcus something. He's very big. He lives in Chicago. He just got a church that he got from Gangstalking and the government providing him money to secretly stalk people, find out what they're good at, and trick them, manipulate them, and take their money, and brainwash the mass public to believe in demons whenever it's really energy that they're putting out. Okay? I was going to move and give that dude all my money because I thought he was going to build the church of Christ that fought in the end times. I thought he really was God's warrior. I didn't know that the whole world was already in this the secret societies that you hear of. They're not secret anymore. They are secret, but it is society. They all combined and made society. So I'd say 8 out of 10 people are already marked, and I think mark is whenever you become one with AI. Yeah. So, anyways, this is the 6-9 reference. It also makes an S. It also makes 2 C's, a C and a G. Capital God of Christianity, lowercase gods of science. Yeah, that dude is such. Wow. I sent him money too. Anyways, so there you go, the particle clash. And that's what I was wondering about the Vikings, because are they the 6 kings? Are they this, because etymology is important. Numbers, Roman numbers were written as words, and for a reason. Everything is for a reason. So right here, this is when it clashes, and this is where I think the blue and the red come in. I know it's very, very canonical, but this is one of the things that I have, right? So it's blue and red, and this is the pressures and stuff in our brain too. It's making us go like that. But basically, whether it's a parasitic approach or whether it's they're cracking the egg or they're cooking the egg, or the whole point is to injure us. And then whenever we heal with a portion that was not originally a part of us. So create trauma in the brain. Okay, so it's just like your skin. Whenever you have a scar, you take the microdermal needle and you poke holes and you make wounds basically around that old scar so that you can heal it with the new collagen. That's how you take away scarring and stuff. That's how you bring forth new tissue on your skin, is by basically injuring it, like re-injuring it. And that's what they're doing. They're injuring us, right? I think this is one of the ways. This is just what I think. One of the ways they're injuring us is by, one of the ways they're doing all this is by injuring us, and then when we go to heal, they have another substance there to callus with that skin. So it's like a scab of half human, half substance, basically. And that's the best way that I could put it right now. I'm sorry. So, and at this rate, this is the exchange where they either one takes over the other cell, or one eats the other like the Pac-Man, or this is where the moon, it's half and half, or just takes it over completely. This is shutting out your light with their artificial energy. This is in reference to the moon. That's why all the phases of the moon are important, because those are the phases in which they are inhabiting our bodies and manipulating the matter within the perimeters of our skin. So here you go. This is also, and that's a fact, this exchange takes place in our very capillaries. You have O2 rich and O2 poor in the capillaries. And So one is alive, one is dead. And, you know, that's the way that I'm thinking of it. So when they always have blue versus red, which pill kind of thing, I'm guessing blue is alive and red is dead. I'm not sure. I will be putting a link in this video so you can get an understanding of how they're personifying space all the time, micro to macro level. So here we go. We're over here, and it's just things that pop up, man. Oh, I was adding. Oh, that's something I want to tell you guys. So I was doing math here. Obviously, I don't know what I'm doing yet, but that's actually very, very important. Where is it? Da-dee-da-dee-dee-da. Whoa. Almost spilled my drink. Okay, well, that sucks. I don't know where the big one is, but dang it. So, periodic table, or all a bunch of elements, and that's what we are. We are matter, and we are. Oh, my breech is all falling out, huh? So we are matter, and all you have to do to manipulate us is mess with the matter. You're playing with your food, basically. That's disgusting. Gross. Now, I think I know what vampires are now. They're not an actual literal thing. But anyways, but chemical breakdown, they could break down the chemicals and figure out what it's math. It's that's the world language, is math. So what plus what equals what? If you add vapor, subtract the temperature, add in pressure, what new substance will this matter transform into? And that's the trans thing. I'm not going to go into that. I think that, yeah, I think they're hiding more than just men and women, men becoming women. Obviously, it's a way to wipe out the race, making everyone not want to reproduce, and instead get a partner and adopt a Ethiopian alien baby, basically, that isn't human. It's a test tube baby that was manufactured by the government. Anyways, so here we are. Yeah, like I said, I don't know what this is, a parasitic approach. You know, this happens on every level, the cellular exchange, right? So here it goes. I'm following the arrows. Oh, there we go. And that's cellular exchange. Yes, I'm using a yoga ball for this. Gotta do what you gotta do, you know what I mean? Improv. So, here we go. Right here. Yeah, this is the pressure, the target. This is the time and space. That's why there's grids and everything when you look at string theory. Right here, this is the yin and yang. This is the fishes, this is dolphins, and those are the particles, I guess. But if you were to lay that down right, and this is string theory, but if you were to lay the yin-yang symbol down flat and make it 3D, it would literally, like, come out to this. And I just thought this was cool because it just shows you how everything really is all about mathematics. Because even our blood has minus and plus. And that is the world language. If you add this, what happens? If you subtract this, what? And that's economics, is mathematics and mind control. There's something very particular I wanted to mention, a phrase that I thought was right on the money. I have no idea what it did with it. Picosecond pulse imaging, wide electrical pulses, penetration through tissue. Yeah, so the picosecond pulse imaging, This is ultrasonic sensors for fluid level measure and all that crap. So wide electrical pulses, when energy is radiated and the waves are wider, right? The waves of energy or sound or light or whatever. If it is wider, I'm guessing. I don't know if this is true, but this is what I'm picking up so far from subliminals. If it's a wider, it creates electric. It penetrates through brain tissue. So, but it won't be felt because of all the stuff that they're also using to numb us. So they're basically killing us and we're not feeling it. And when we do, that's just 1 + 1 = 2. Here's your diagnosis. But really, it's your body trying to maintain homeostasis because they are injuring a part of us somewhere up in our body, and they're trying to pair something that doesn't belong in our body with it. I think that's what maybe these things are doing. I'm not sure. But it is definitely worth a question. Chronic traumatic encephalitis, CTE. Oh yeah, shock waves. So here we go. This is how energy can give you TBI, right? Which is traumatic brain injury. Can you see this? I'm trying to get on right up on this bad boy. I can't tell if I can. It's a really bad picture, like it's really light. So basically, here's the radar, whether it's sonar, whether it's ADA, whether it's the American flag, who knows? They're everywhere. They're in cop cars, they're in vehicles, whatever. So you put out the radar, and it sends out a signal, and the waves, and here's the ear. Okay? That's shock waves, concussion-like effect. CTE, that's the same thing that people were dying from in that movie Concussion, where, the brain has been aged. But it seems like there's two different ways I think there's several, but they're using different techniques. Maybe that's just the next phase of matter, is whenever they bring in different mechanics. I'm guessing. And I just noticed, I don't know why, but I just want to show this down here. I'm just throwing that out there. If anybody can pick up what I'm throwing down right here. If you have, any ideas or anything like that, comment below. I would like to know because I'm trying to figure this out. But yeah, there's one word, one phrase I still haven't found. Micro. I put micro thing, radar level transmitter, radar liquid level sensor, liquid level optic sensor, tube liquid sensor, raw, nah. I don't know what I was saying there. Red is dry, blue is wet. Water reflects signal. I'm trying to find it. Oh, here's a good thing. Well, here's something you should know. Mana, M-A-N-A, means luminescence. And that was used in Babylon. It's also used in the very end of the Bible when it talks about people feeding on manna, that God's going to give us manna. Why are they feeding on man? Us? Man? you get what I'm saying? So Babylonian Aramic manna. It means enlightened lord or king. Titularc. Tutelar C. Octreoscan. Octreoscan. Oreo scan, whatever that is, and DOCETISM, docetism, yeah. But there's just so many different avenues of approach that I am trying to figure out. And of course, in that process, I think every phase is yoga ball. It's a different process, and overall, crisis crystal, like I said. So here's the crystals. Micro to macro. This is a NASA paper. Everything I've been learning is from NASA and from other sources like Wikipedia. If you want to know what's a lie and what's true, go on Wikipedia and read. Whatever they say is true is false. Whatever they say is false is true. Or it's true. It's just a false narrative behind it. But that's everything. That's society. They did that on purpose. But yeah. So micro to macro. Making the Horn of Africa grow. I don't know what. There's just so many things that they say. But yeah. Is that the tower that they're speaking of? It is being built, and it seems like different machines are used for different phasing of this crystal growing, and it seems like this is what vapor diffusion apparatus. 1994, this thing called PCAM handheld device. Yeah, which first flew 1994, a handheld device, and grew into a hardware. So suppose they made our minds soft, like gummy bear cushions. Suppose they made our minds soft using machines, right? Well, over time, it can callous and become hard like a rock. The more injuries that they give to it, and they can crystallize it. And I just so happen to see like proteins crystallize. So if you look at it, it's very interesting how the different things we do to combat, different things we do to put in our body to combat things, have, these things in it, like, have got protein in it. And protein can be crystallized, or who knows. But I just so happen to know. I'm just going to read this list right here. I put vapor diffusion apparatus, circle, point, point the arrow to the next bubble. Next bubble, crystallize, chicken, EEG, chicken, egg, white. And then next line says lysozyme, lysozyme, and D-amino transferase. So I'm thinking at this crystallized point where the light does the rainbow thing that they all talk about, and I'm guessing that's why all these trolls are dyeing their hair out there. I don't know. There's something there. There's some part of the process I'm not understanding. But after the transferase, I put another arrow and it says producing crystals. And then below that, it says use sitting drop rather than the hanging drop method in the VDA, and this is the vapor diffusion apparatus. So this is the different methods of liquid within our equilibrium or our brain or our cells or whatever that they are manipulating. More evolved sitting drop hardware was developed called protein crystallization apparatus for microgravity, PCAM. And that's a handheld device as of 1994. So if they can change the very gravity within our head, our tubes in our heads, and then their handheld devices, are these scientific devices what they're using on us? Like you see what happens to the circle when it gets crystallized. So eventually we're all a circle, we're all a planet, right? We're all Earth. And they keep fucking with us with their machines and cracking us via the circumstances in our life, because emotion controls behavior in the body and outside of the body. So they have figured that out. And eventually you won't have a round neutron anymore. It's going to be a dice. It's going to be a tetrahedron. What is this? I don't even know what that is. Tetrahedron something or other. This is a satellite tobacco mosaic virus crystal grown in microgravity. I'm sorry. Can we... You see what I mean? Virus crystal grown in microgravity. They can do that in our bodies, cellular level. What are they doing? And it looks as though at the final phase, that's when there's a final takeover, and that's when the whole moon eclipse happens every 10 years. Like I said, I'm going to draw out the moon, and we're going to dive into that and explore that a little bit. But what's taking so long is finding the truth, because I don't want to put out information out there if it's not the truth. But at the same time, like my old mentor used to say, you know, you put out 50% of something is better than 100% of nothing. So hopefully this will get our minds to think, I'm sorry about my hair and my clothes, you know, I'm going through a rough patch. So yeah, we can come together and figure it out, maybe. Or maybe one of you guys can help me figure out the missing link at the process, or maybe you understand it completely, you know. So just something, get your minds out there and thinking about reality, what's actually happening on the micro to macro level. And you ask questions, and then you'll be around other people, and it's like a domino effect. That's how they do it when they put toxic ideas in our heads. So maybe this will generate more ingenuity and you know, thinking and solution problem solving as far as how to combat these devices, and how to take our bodies back from these world powers, principalities. But yeah, I'm going to eat me a bacon sandwich and start coloring. That's cool. So I've had this computer for a very short period of time because they hacked into my phone, my iPhone, and my iPad. And now this computer, it's very hard to move around the mouse thing, and I noticed that years ago when I was hacked into before, they control the mouse, they make it hard to click on absolutely everything. Either that, or it's the electromagnetic energy being beamed to me. It interrupts any kind of communications as well, so everything around you is going to be haywire. Yeah, I've even had where one of these didn't work before. It's literally stopped working. And this has happened to multiple pins. Like anything I touch electronically, it just messes up and malfunctions. Could it be possibly because the government is radiating illegal energy and electricity to try to change the matter in my brain so that they could take it over with their AI? And I'm guessing that people that are selected for this torture, we're weak looking, and they thought we were weaker than what we are. And they assumed that we would not exist right now. With their Big Bang of electronics and Satan's devices. Okay, so I just saw this video, and it was by Law and Crime Network. They posted it on 5th of April, and it's called Body Cam Shows Police Tasing an Armed Woman in Florida Walmart. And this was posted by the Law and Crime Network, but Marion County Police Department, Florida, was, I guess, the personnel involved. And this was a woman. I'm going to put the link in there in the description. But do you hear what the lady is saying? They're trying to bleep out so you can't hear what she's saying. But she says, "You're a crooked cop. You killed my family. You're a crooked cop." They tase her and go to handcuff her, and she's like, "What? Are you guys going to kidnap me?" I don't even think she said what. She's like, "Are y'all going to kidnap me?" Like, as if she knew the process. And I feel so bad for this lady. And you could tell she's, her teeth are missing and stuff. So maybe she's engaging in recreational drugs or something. But I don't think that has anything to do with what she is going through. I think that's her way of relieving. If no one knows, they are using energy on the mass population. And basically the goal is to soften us, to make us gummy-like. That's why the whole big gummy rush, the THC gummies and the gummy bears and the gummy diet, that's the whole point, and the candy and the sweet spot and the Valentines. It's literally like it's sick. It sounds like they're like feeding off our souls or something. It's what it sounds like. I'm not gonna lie. It sounds really, really weird, like they're eating people through energy, mass suckage or something. It's kind of, I don't know, it's really weird. I think it's weird that they feast on adrenochrome and the effects from the radiation and them messing with your brain makes you lack adrenaline, which is why you have to take Adderall, which is meth, to alleviate the ADHD symptoms or whatever spectrum of autistic you are, because they are experimenting on the mass population. And I know because I have ADHD and I've taken Adderall for 9 years, 10 years, something like that, the whole time I was in the military. And that's the first thing they did, was take me off, well, attempt to take me. You couldn't, because they were fake doctors paid by the CIA to go in there and literally get involved. And not my case, there's other cases too. This something that's literally their job, is to put on new suits. That's the whole Dr. Seuss, dressing up as different people. It's just whatever. So obviously this lady has been experimented on because she's utilizing meth to equal out what they're doing to her brain. When you mess with matter, you create deficiencies. When you hit people with energy, you are throwing off the body's functions, and it's trying its best to balance itself out and maintain homeostasis. And that's where the COVID symptoms are coming from. To be honest, that's where everything's coming from. That's where cancer's coming from. They trick you by giving you cancer. Just with radiation, they trick you by giving us these diseases, and then they treat us. And when they treat us with stuff that'll, I don't know, even more so affect our body and break our body down. The whole purpose is to soften the shell. The egg is our head. Don't celebrate Easter. It's mocking us. Everything is a pun. Everything's a pun. It's really weird, and it's sick, and it's gross, and I just feel so bad for this lady, because obviously the cops and the security and all the first responders, second responders, third responders, I'm just saying that because some weirdo said something like, oh, we don't have enough third responders for this kind of thing, when I said something about the first responders. So whatever that means. Is that the cleanup crew? Is that what that is, you little weirdos? Anyways, don't comment weird crap. Like, y'all are weird. So I just, like I said, we know the security and the first responders are involved so that they can control what the mass public sees. If you literally in this apartment complex alone, you would see strange behavior, people standing in the hallway, leaning up against, like you would see what looked like machines malfunctioning. No lie, you would. And of course, that would get someone's attention. So this is why they replace all the security people, that's why if you didn't get the mark, if you didn't get, that, I don't think that is. I think it's one of the ways to induce the mark. But yeah, if you didn't comply, they fired you. And that's because you're controllable after you comply, I think. But that was the first thing that I noticed, is all security, all police, the churches, anyone, they put people in key areas that we go for help to. And that way they're always there to redirect us, to lie to us, to kidnap us, to surveil us, to trick us, to kill us if need be. But they're always there to intervene, and they're also there to translate the lie of what happened to the public. And that's what they do. That they're actors. Everyone is a paid actor. That's why everyone's living their own dream. They're paid actor, and they're just playing a video game every day, only out of their body, avatar. And I think maybe the whole process they're trying to team us up with an entity or whatever in the chemical process, and maybe that's what they do. They team up with AI, and all of a sudden they got specs on the whole world, and they also got that hive mind going for them, so they can speak instantaneously. It sounds as if they are crossing their T's, their tongues, with mechanics, and dotting their I's with mechanics, and maybe that, and then maybe there's controls in the right arm. I don't know. I'm just trying to make sense of what all this is, I guess. But I'm going to put the link in here for this female that's going. I just feel really bad because she's got a knife. She's in the middle of Walmart, and she's a mess. You could tell, but they made her that way, and I know I just feel so bad because I know I was in Florida. The cops were following me everywhere in Florida. They followed me to the church. And there was helicopters over the church, and UFOs, not UFO, they look like UFOs. They're satellites over the church, and drones over the church that I was at. When I was trying to get relieved of demons, because I felt these energies and this electrical stuff going on with me. And I just assumed it was demons or something. And then one day, well, after nothing worked, after all, I realized everyone I went to that was Christian, for help, that's out in the public, these preachers, these teachers, these false prophets, apostles, prophetic, star seed, whatever, they're all fake. They're all liars. They all spy on us. That's how they can tell us what's happening. They MK Ultra us. Basically, they brainwash us into believing in their lies. They basically they're another buffer. There's so many buffers that someone has to go through for it to reach the public, and that is why no one knows. And it's between that and the 50 other million things that are going on in this world. So the chances of people seeing this type of thing and knowing what's going on is very slim. And if you are, being a good citizen, you're just trying to do the right thing, and you're working and everything like that, I'm hoping I don't lose my train of thought. I definitely just did, though. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so that's one of the signals. It's a high-pitched signal, and I lost my train of thought. That's what I'm talking about. They're called EEG or EGG signals, and there's a rapper named Extension. He spoke on signals and stuff like that. That's also what they use for the Neuralink and for the video games where you can see it like you're there. These are connections, right? And they put the band on as if they need that. They don't need that. This is all just to trick us. They don't need a band to do that. They're doing it right now from Australia or wherever the Hubble scopes are, and the magnets of the world, and the satellites that all come together that make this great grid hive mind that, you could just push buttons and start nuclear wars. And I don't know. There's so much going on in this world that I know that poor little lady with the knife, scared for her life, is telling the truth. She said, "You're a dirty cop. You killed my family." And this is, and I can understand why she's in Walmart with a knife. Every time I go to Walmart, there's a cop there. And they usually are right around there in the parking lot, or they're right behind the parking lot. They're either in the parking lot or they're behind the building. And they are they're playing with you, and there's what they're doing. They have their devices connected. Everything, everywhere you go, has a OE2540 signal, antenna, whatever receiver. Everywhere you go is like a beacon. Everything has been turned into a beacon for a signal receiver, etc. And so I just feel really bad for this lady. She's probably getting electrocuted in there and she doesn't know which one's doing it. So she brought out her knife because all these people around her mumbling weird stuff. And she doesn't know how to explain it. All she knows is, the cops definitely haven't helped her. They killed her family and that they're dirty. But what they put this up as is armed woman gets, what is it? Body cam shows police tasing armed woman in Florida Walmart. Look at her. She didn't know what she was doing. She was just scared. I'm just being for real. I know all the cops in Florida are crooked. That's just life. That's facts. Same with Texas. Same with New Orleans. If not nationwide, if not worldwide. Now, I think there are certain exceptions where people have been grandfathered in, or because they've been there for so long, just like medical personnel, or they have taken the vaccine, and they give them the real jobs. They give them the real people like me that call for help, blah, blah. Well, actually, I'm targeted, so they would give me a fake person to fuck with me and be like, I'm just doing my job. But they would give the real cop. I think we may have had one in Texas. But yeah, the real cop, they give them, him, her, whatever, the real call-ins that are actually happening. Or maybe they just give them fake call-ins of fake people, while the other one, I don't know. But I do, and same with the military. The whole time I had no idea the military did stuff like this. I did not know. I had no idea, that all of that wasn't coming to work, and all of their vehicles were just being stored there for gangstalking purposes. And their radars were left unmanned, and they were operating during garrison on multiple accounts for months at a time. None of this is okay. It's all weird. And at that time, they also tried to say that you couldn't videotape on Fort Hood. I know because I was recording a police because they were harassing me, pulling me over every second of the day. They lived in my neighborhood, so they'd use energy on me all the time. There's so many times the police got involved and it made things worse. And if you go to them for help, you'll get punished by electricity while you're sitting in the other room. I've literally been there before, actually multiple times, and all they do is gaslight you, and then they punish you once you walk out. Or if you're in there and you're trying to get video footage and show them the proof, they will invite their friends over, like this one person named Heidi that is in Killeen, Texas. She came in when the police called her there after I said, okay, well, I'm getting proof because this person's been following me. So it's this person. Here's all the pictures. I'm going to match these up. And it happens so often on the daily that this is impossible. But if you guys want all this, I will sit here right now and figure it out. And I sat there and started piecing everything together to give to them, showing them the faces, the light, everything. You know what they did? He said he didn't have time for it. He was getting off shift. But what he did have time to do was call his friend Heidi, which I'm just assuming is a devil worshiper because she had a picture of a devil on her arm and it said devil. And she went in the back room as if they were friends, and they proceeded to direct energy at me, or whatever it is that they use on us. And it started hurting so bad. It was in my heart and in my back and in my belly. It was ricocheting. The pain was ricocheting through my body, and it started hurting so bad. Like I was furious because I wanted to file a real report. I wanted to have all the evidence, but that's what they do. They intervene. They make it impossible. Prove it. Well, I'll electrocute you. Prove it. Give me those pictures. Well, I'll electrocute. Like that's what they do. And it's absolutely wrong. It's inhumane. And yeah. So I know what it's like. There's multiple videos of them pulling me over. They've all been, they staged a wreck and then lied about it when they tried to kill me. And my dog died that day as well. And they lost the police report twice. They lost their whole notepad. I guess I don't know. But everything was absolutely ridiculously set up and obvious. And I feel very bad for this woman because no one's helping her. And it sounds like they already got to everyone else in her family. And she literally said, "You're a crooked cop and you killed my family." Like, this poor lady. I couldn't find one decent cop. I would always find cops close around, and I would be thankful at first. And then I realized that they were the ones doing it to me. And that's why they were always around, you know? I thought maybe I was getting protection. Nope, that's not the case. If you go to them once, they will follow you around, but it's to torture you, not to protect you. Silly rabbits. Tricks are for kids. How embarrassing. We're the rabbit, and all they do is trick us and treat us. And then crack our heads open and call it Easter and kill all the Native Americans. And I don't know. It's so weird to me. Native American in a sodium salt of the earth. It's just very weird how I have noticed they are targeting specifically Native American and O blood types. And that is descendants of Native Americans as well. It's a wide range of colors, I guess. Mainly verbatim Mexican, black, and white people. So that was the whole Vanessa Guillen thing. That hoax. No one knows what happened to her body. It's because, like, it's a sick way of being like, oh, she evaporated. Her energy she turned into energy, and just like that movie Lucy. Everything they do is a pun. It is so sick. He cut her up with an axe, like the satanic ritual they did in the Bible. Like, I'm done here. I'm just done here, you guys. I really want you to focus in on, and this is absolutely every story you're getting is probably twisted, if not staged. Hey guys, so I'm actually eating dinner right now. Steak and sweet potatoes. I didn't make it, but it's amazing. It's probably why it's so good. Sorry, it's dark. As you know, lights carry electricity and energy. So the less light, the less artificial light you use, the better. So I have candles and my blankie, just like the never-ending story. But I was sitting here and I was actually watching a video. Excuse me for eating while I do this. I really don't care. It doesn't make me any less of a person how I eat. So, sorry. I haven't eaten yet all day. So, anyways, I was watching this video. Frank James. He speaks on personality types and stuff like that. That's also another thing I was going to do is personality psychology. And so I absolutely love watching his stuff, you know. It's so funny if you understand people. INFJs were natural people watchers, which makes a lot of sense too. As to why we see things others don't. But onto the whole reason I made this whole video that I'm attempting to right now, but this stuff is good. This is a good dinner. Is because I'm a targeted individual, and by watching this video, obviously you know how INFJs get the little intuition pings. And that's what this video is on too. It talks about intuition. The last half of the video are the people that are the most heavily targeted out of the population. The last two people in that video are the people that are going to be, for sure, overtly targeted at some point in their life. And that is an INFJ and an INTJ. Why? Because we know too much and we don't even freaking know it. I think that's honestly the truth. That, and the other reason is because we find fixes. So we notice the patterns. So when they keep habitually fucking up our lives, we develop systems to overthrow any unforeseen circumstances that for some reason always happen to us in particular. So we've developed fine-tuned systems of resistance, of gang stalking, basically, throughout our life, and it's because we've always been covertly targeted so harshly. And now I understand why. I understand why I made a point to always have a plan, no matter what. I have a plan for everything all the time, and I that's the worst thing, is not knowing what's going to happen or not knowing the outcome. And of course, that's what they do. They take the one thing that bothers you and they make that your life story. So I'm going to put a link to this video on the intuition, and then a link to another video that talks about weaknesses in all the personality types. So this is good because this is how they will covertly target people. This is what the situations they will mold in your life or around your personality weaknesses and strengths. I will somehow get around to figuring out everything, in regards to personality types to help you out more. But that's basically what it is. INTJs and INFJs, we've already made fixes to all the problems. If there was a skill that an INFJ and INTJ has, it is already having the answer before it's needed. Already having a solution before anyone thinks that it realizes that it's missing. That's what we do. And so now it really, really, really makes sense, because we kept shutting down every single trap of their life to try to destroy us. And the only way to destroy an INFJ, well, I'm not sure, but I do know that we can get wrapped up in feelings about others. So if you destroy people around us, that's going to destroy us. And if we finally get past the fact that you're using electronic devices, what are they called? Microgravity, fluid fluctuating vapor devices and stuff, EEG, the sensory stuff, the neural signals in your brain. Basically, people are controlled by their emotions because emotion dictates behavior. So whenever you get out of the cycle of letting emotions run your life after you have let them ruin your life, you will probably have another ridiculously 50 more attempts to absolutely ruin your life, and then you'll get like an overt target attack. But eventually, it seems as though because the way he says it, and this is also how you look at videos. This is an INFJ, obviously. He has taken the mark, and he is one of these people in society, obviously. That's why he has his own show, and he gets to do what he loves. So that's what I'm saying. Even good people, we take the mark, and we can go be good people in society and help people. His videos helped me, my soldiers, everything for the last, 9 years, So that's what I use to get to know people and help them realize their strengths and weaknesses and improve upon both and make every person I meet and comes in my path unstoppable, And that's also a reason why they come at INFJs and INTPs, because we're very big on fixing problems and fixing people and stuff like that. INTJs are like INFJs without the weaknesses. Okay, so what I mean by that is I cannot compete with INTJ if I don't have Adderall. You know what I mean? Like that, if I hadn't had that. So INTJs are resistant against their, what kind of radiation is that? Ionized radiation. Whatever it is that makes you dumb, that gives you ADHD, that puts you on the spectrum of autism, whatever radiation or devices that they're using to do that, it doesn't work on INTJs. Because they are smart. They are like a whip. And so they fine tune on that stuff. Now, INFJs, since we grow up and we have, a radar beaming at our fucking head our entire life, and they do that to deter us from learning, we naturally start to focus on people and people behaviors, because everything smart that we go to pick up, we get beamed in the head. Which is why most INFJs have, and INTJs have eye issues, because of all the pressure from their devices that the government is illegally using and experimenting on their personnel, on their civilians, on their people. So this is why we need to take out the words entity, municipality, principality, and anything, persons. If it does not say man and woman in our laws, it needs to be taken out. And we need to shut down all the research centers. NASA's fake. Let's get real. Rocket science is the science on how to conduct New World Order. That's what space is. The space in which WITCH, they will use their witchcraft devices, whatever, against us. So everything that we have made, everything that is made that's mechanical and technical, is made by aerospace companies. For a prime example, type in the word switchcraft, not witchcraft, switchcraft in Wikipedia, and you'll see a company comes up, and they're hosted out of Hollywood, Florida, and they make all the aerospace stuff, and all the stuff needed for that, but they also make our everyday products, like literally everything. Our cars, our vehicles, I already said cars, our vehicles are, sorry, they're pinging me really hard right now. They're trying to interrupt the signal. So that's what they are, those little signals. It's to take you off topic. But yeah, they make any kind of electronics that we use, from computers, everything. It's built in every single engineering device, has an alternate use behind it, I guess you could say. It has an alter ego for its use. That sounds whack as hell, but that's all I could think of. Everything is canonical. Everything is made canonically. Everything is taught canonically. Everything is canonical. I wonder how many matrices there are at this point. How many matrices? Did I actually say that word all the way out? I don't know, because I got pinged really hard by this person that just walked in the building. And by the way, if you have noticed these people around you, most of them are criminals. They're all spies, criminals. They've all taken the mark of the beast, whatever that is. I think it's becoming partial AI, which is how they have control to give the commands over the devices that they're using. So, for instance, someone will say something and then look at me to see if I receive the command that they verbally just spoke. Now, the language that they speak is like computer language, but it sounds something like Egyptian. And it gives computer commands to Satan's devices, pretty much. Yeah. I've got a lot more on this topic. I'm learning a lot more. All the fellow INFJs, INTJs, we're the ones that everyone else is going to be dependent on. I'm going to say this right now. INTJs, I depend on you. INFJs, I depend on you. I depend on all of you, But in particular, the ones that have something to prove for humanity, the ones that, I hate to say those two particular types, but, and of course you have your INFPs and your ISFJs that are, all about doing the right thing too for humanity, and they get all huffy and puffy about it. So, but you know what I mean. I depend on people who care about people, and for knowledge, for help on how to overthrow this evil world we live in, basically, and keep them from torturing the mass public and keeping us sick with their weapons, and then calling it COVID and making fake wars and all this, taking our people out to experiment on them and kill them. And unless they join your little AI occult that is now, these occults, these cults, these societies, they're not secret anymore. They are society. But we're just not in on their little inside joke. We're not in on the secret. Because we're not evil. And that's okay, you guys. You don't need to be evil. And it seems as though all of population have taken this mark. And I understand, is part of it. Have taken this mark and is part of it. Sorry, I'm trying to stab at this. And I think it all started, well, I don't know when it started. I think it's been the thing. But it got a really big rise when it was the stay-at-home stuff with COVID, and that's because you stay at home and you can zoom in on their coordinates, their grid coordinates. That's what you do when you call for fire in the army or in the military. If you call any call for fire, you need grid coordinates, right? And that's what they do. They have grid coordinates on us, and if we stay at home, and are not so sheltered, filled with electricity and pipes and stuff that they can use against us, they can direct it right up on us all day long. And this is how so many people switched. Like a little... I'm just kidding. I wonder if that song is talking about that. You switch like a little... You might know what I'm talking about. I can't see both of those words. The last word's bitch, but yeah. This steak is really bomb. Let me know in the comments what you think. We need to spread the word. If you haven't noticed, that's getting worse. It's getting worse. No one cares, and we need to wake people up because this is a real issue. It's the only real issue there is out there. That's where all the issues are stemming from. Is this real issue? And you could say whatever you want about me, but personality types don't lie. And I'm an INFJ, and go look at all the videos about me. Go look at all the videos about my personality. Tell me about me. INFJs, INTJs see through all the bullshit. But even then, we don't see through anything at all until we are overtly targeted. Because you're still going to be programmed to live in the matrix world they taught you to. So we don't see through all of it. We just see through certain things because we didn't know. We see through what we can see through in the fabric of our reality. And our reality did not consist of being in two places at one, in which one is the matrix and one's the real world. They just pinged me in my right ear, so someone just walked by or gave a command. So that's, the two dimensions, whether in one reality and whatever. One reality is how we see it and how we're taught about it and how the whole world pretends to be. And the other reality is the fact that they're all faking it. They've all taken the mark, and we're sitting over here, and we're not inside their inside joke. Like we're not aware that secret society, it literally is the society now. And it's not just like, oh, it's just the evil people. No, it's everyone. Everyone. You get to be your own avatar. Like you know what I mean? You give them, you run out space in your head for them to do their Big Bang weird theory, quantum mechanics stuff that changed you into AI, which is another race, and to wipe you out. I'm just gonna stop there because this is a video about personalities, and now I'm getting into the truth, which a lot of personalities are not going to want to hear. What I will say is INFJs, INTJs, we eventually get hit with the real reality. Listen to these videos. The real reality. And that's because our tricks, to prevent our plans, to prevent every chaotic thing that is constantly set our way on purpose and orchestrated, we eventually, come up, we have all the fixes, so you can't come at us anyway. And the only way to come at us is illegally. And so that's how they did it. Illegally. And at that point, they probably try to kill you by now, too. If they've done it overtly, But that's why, because legally we knew our rights and we could fight everything, and then we had our fixes for everything. We learned to adapt. We were very good at fixing problems because we had so many thrown at us constantly. That's why we're good at helping people, because we know how it feels to constantly have chaos orchestrated, literally orchestrated, with the perimeters of what this is called a society. And eventually y'all get tired of trying to go covertly because we adapt so well. Yeah, we will get down in the dumps, but we got so much grit that somehow, some way, we will pull ourselves up from our bootstraps. That's God, not us. Let's give him the credit. And, we will fix the issue. If it's us, we will fix it. It doesn't matter. Pride doesn't matter. When you get so low, you want to unfuck it, you will unfuck it. And that's how INFJs. We get to the bottom and then we fight. We get to the very, very bottom and then we fight. And eventually we remember these methods of how to fight back, and we get so good at it. And then they can't covertly come at us because you just broke the law, bro. So now it's over, and they make a point to separate you from around other people, because if you are around a group of people that you have won over their hearts because they know who you are, because you go above and beyond, because you naturally love helping people because of how fucked over you are constantly, then you'll have a sense of credibility that cannot be stripped from you whenever this happens. So this is why they use devices to mess with your emotions, to control your behavior, to wipe out everyone you know, so you are just distancing yourself from everyone. This is why they call it alienation. When you alienate yourself, that's why they call it alienate. Because you're by yourself, and that's when the process happens. That's when you get taken over. And it's done with mechanics. And either your body takes to it and you become one with AI, or it doesn't take to it and you die, and they have their cleanup crew come get you. And that's just from what I've noticed. I don't know if anything I'm saying is actually factually 100% true. I know I'm in the ballpark though, and if anyone else is saying anything like I am, they're in the ballpark too. I don't rely on other people for credibility. That's something very different with INFJs and INTJs as well. We never rely on outside sources for credibility. We have always had to fight for our credibility and fight for what is right. And that's another reason why we get boom stopped, because we fight like we get too obsessed with fighting for rights. You know what I mean? So that's when they let you know you don't have any rights, and they do everything illegally, and all the cops turn on you, and everyone you work for in the brigade, and everyone just turns on you, and no one's your friend. And the ones that are your friend go missing for a week and come back with a new haircut, and all of a sudden they're part AI too, and know this new Egyptian language that gives computer commands. I'm sorry, they are literally doing that. I can't even speak properly because of the stuff that they are using. I'm guessing there's one off in the distance. There's a person off in the distance on the left side. I don't know if they're inside, if they're outside, but I know because I can hear their signal loud and clear in my left ear, and it is hurting because there is some fluid that I left in there. So there's a tip for you guys. Don't leave fluid in your ears, even if you're just cleaning it out because of the gunk, the phlegm that they put in there. Get all of it out, let it drain out. But yeah, that's all I got for now. Love you guys. Stay safe. Keep your chins up. Like, for real. Fuck the free world. How is that free? They're all being mind controlled and told what to do. Like, against their, they allowed it, but for us, they're trying to take our will away. trying to take away our will to live and make us a smith, basically. And that's what everyone is around you, is a smith. You could say I'm wrong or whatever, but like I said, I'm more confident than ever. INFJs are also people watchers because we are stupid. Because they beam us with energy and ionic radiation since birth. So you probably always had bad nightmares too, right? And you got bad vision. Yeah, this is the effects. These are the symptoms when you get experimented on. And because we were so dumb growing up, because they didn't want us to learn anything, because we're very good with patterns and bitting them together. So they didn't want us to be smart enough to recognize any patterns. So yeah, we clung to patterns of people. So I can tell a normal person from a fucking electronic weird AI dude that's walking his dog with his eyes rolled in the back of his head and he's turned off at an angle, staring down or staring up with eyes back of the head with his mouth wide open, saying something like he looks like he's in a trance and maybe some drool is coming down. I've caught them in so many different awkward positions when they are speaking and chanting their computer commands. That is ridiculous. Like, it is absolutely, even that, like, it is holy moly. I don't know what this is. Egyptian, Ethiopian language that controls Satan's devices. And that's probably why Tower of Babel and Babylonian and the evilest city in the world was called Tower of Babel. Because their words were connected to Satan's devices. Maybe.